चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम.
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage. I have reviewed almost 400 Indian movies on this channel, and today I want to talk about the 1960 Bollywood classic CHAUDHVIN Ka Chand, aka Full Moon. I watched it as part of the Criterions channel Guru Dutt special. After the commercial failure of Guru Dutt's very personal passion project Kagas Ke Phool, aka Paper Flowers, he quit directing altogether and set his mind on producing a big commercial movie. And indeed, CHAUDHVIN Ka Chand, which was written by Sagia Usmani and directed by M. Sadiq, became a huge hit and saved Dutt's studio from ruins. It's a romantic musical drama mixed in with a lot of humor in the first half, and it's also regarded as a so-called Muslim social, a film genre in Indian cinema that portrays Islamic culture in India. And this setting is indeed one of the film's strengths. It's set in the city of Lucknow, and with the first half playing very much like a classical romantic comedy, it was quite exciting to have a setting that's so foreign to me for a change. There are of course a lot of very familiar elements and tropes. The classic love triangle, three best friends who look after each other, expectations of and responsibilities to your family, and the usual misunderstandings and errors that keep a story like this going. But it's embedded in this Islamic setting, and I enjoyed that a lot. Not that I assume this to be very realistic, I actually don't, because romantic movies, romantic comedies also have this fantastical element. Not as in there being anything supernatural or so, but in terms of being a romantic fantasy, being a little bit above the reality of common people. And if only by making the protagonists these upper class people living in lush and luxurious mansions. It's an escapist commercial movie that's a feast for the eyes and ears, with great sets, costumes, beautiful people and absolutely wonderful music. And it's long. Actually very long, almost clocking in at 3 hours. Which, and I know that I'm sounding like a broken record, is certainly too long for my taste. But back to the beginning. The story of CHAUDHVIN Ka Chand begins with Nawab, played by Rehman, falling madly in love with an unknown woman after he briefly sees her face in public. Through some unfortunate events, that woman, whose name is Jamila and played by one of India's greatest actresses Waheeda Rehman, that woman is getting married to Nawab's best friend Aslam, played by Guru Dutt himself, who, after being introduced like 20 minutes into the film, becomes the actual protagonist. Now for the entire first half, Aslam, Nawab and the third friend Mirza, who's mostly used as comedic relief, played by the wonderful Johnny Walker, all three have no clue that the mystery woman Nawab fell in love with is actually the new bride of Aslam. And that first half is certainly what I enjoyed most about the film, because aside from the many great songs, there's also a lot of humor in there. It's a classic mix-up where the audience is knowing more than our characters, and the situations are quite funny and charming. I'm also pretty sure that this is my favorite role of Johnny Walker, and probably just for the fact alone that it's the most substantial from the ones I have seen him in. He's featured so prominently in this movie, and I think the movie is better for it. There's this really fun market sequence where he's in disguise and looking for the mystery woman. How the movie is able to keep this story angle going for such a long time is quite remarkable, and I was thinking they would go even further with it and save the reveal for even longer. But the movie goes a different route, and if you mind some spoilers for a movie that's more than 60 years of age, consider this a warning. Like usual, the movie takes a pretty heavy turn for the melodramatic, with Aslam becoming the only person who knows that his beloved wife is the same woman that his best friend Nawab has fallen in love with. And from leaning more towards comedy, it now becomes a story of a deeply conflicted and suffering man. Guru Dutt has played these tragic figures several times and he's great at it. But with that second half and how the story develops, there comes a lot of things that I have issues with and can only accept to a certain degree. It's a movie from 1960, from a very different time, and if you want to enjoy it, you have to keep that in mind. Because if you really look at it, and you actually don't have to look that closely, it's taken completely for granted that the woman in this is basically just the object of desire for our two best friends. She has basically no say in this herself. She's not the one who can decide anything. The first half is very much a romantic comedy, and with all the misunderstandings and mix-ups, that's at least tolerable for me, or let's say more tolerable, because when it becomes this tragic melodrama, it just rubs me the wrong way, and maybe it's a genre of the melodrama that's just more difficult for me to take in. Like I said earlier, there comes a certain detachment from actual reality with romantic fantasies like this. For example, you just have to accept that it's basically all about love at first sight, because at least Nawab knows absolutely nothing about Jamila, really nothing at all. They haven't even really talked once. So the notion that Aslam has to sacrifice his own happiness with his wife becomes at least a little bit absurd. At its core, it's really a total objectification of this mystery woman. Again, you just have to go with it and accept this romantic and tragic fantasy, but for me personally, there's only so much I can look past. And it doesn't really help that I didn't find Nawab all that likable. Still, CHAUDHVIN KA CHAND is a film worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of classics like this. Just for the beautiful music alone that was composed by Ravi, or the lively and lovely direction by Sadiq. There's one sequence, or actually two I think, that stand out. The title track, sung by Mohammed Rafi, is to die for. It's absolutely beautiful. It encapsulates the endless devotion that Aslam has for his new wife, and it's realized in this gorgeous color sequence. CHAUDHVIN KA CHAND is a black and white film, but with the triumph of Technicolor in those days, they were able to do this very special sequence in color, and the contrast is really adding to the magic and beauty of it. Now, apparently it wasn't the only color sequence, but the song Dil Ki Kahana Ranglai Hai also got this treatment. Unfortunately though, the version on the Criterion channel, which looks pretty awesome, only had that one color sequence. Was the second song maybe colorized later, or was it really also filmed in color originally? Please let me know if you have any idea. So, in German I'd say, CHAUDHVIN KA CHAND ist ein indischer Klassiker, der fraglos durch seinen Soundtrack, seine üppige Ausstattung, ein paar wirklich tolle Schauspieler und seine starke Regie glänzt. Leider konnte ich in der stark melodramatischen zweiten Hälfte, aber nicht immer ein Auge zudrücken bei der doch etwas problematischen Geschichte. I give CHAUDHVIN KA CHAND 7 out of 10. It's more like 6.6, but I don't do that.
चौदहवीं का चांद हो।
Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about CHAUDHVIN KA CHAND. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd, and also on Patreon, simply at the Jimmy Cage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.